This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Police intercept a sale of stolen goats in St. Catherine. The Predial Larceny Unit of the St. Catherine South Police Division is on the hunt for goat thieves who attempted on Tuesday to sell more than 30 of the stolen animals to unsuspecting customers. The goats were stolen from a farm on Marchpen Road in Spanish Town and transported to another location in Dunbeholden, Portmore. The owner of the goats, who asked not to be identified, told the news that dogs alerted the family to intruders sometime after 2 a.m. on Tuesday. When one of them went to investigate, he was met with gunshots and had to watch as the intruders herded the goats and took them from the property. The intruders then began firing at the house. After the gunfire ceased, the owners realized more than half of their animals had been taken. The goat farmer said he later received the information that the animals were being sold at a farm in Portmore. He was able to identify 2 of his animals and alerted the police. Inspector Landward Chambers from the St. Catherine South Division said the police have recovered 31 of the stolen goats, with about 4 or 5 being unaccounted for.
My cousin heard the dogs barking in the back of the yard. So by the time he went to the window to look out, he did greeted with gunshot. Big gunshots start firing in there. And the man them start group up the goat. Roughly then so they see about 5 men in the yard, just a group up the goat, them herd them up and I run them out. Then start shoot up the house, him say, by the time everything clear and he come out, more than half of the herd disappear.
Based on intelligence, we came to this farm. We recovered 31 of the goats so far. 31 out of the numbers that were stolen. I think they cannot account for about 4 or 5.
JLP counselor on gun and assault charges after dispute with wife. Arthur Lynch, Jamaica Labour Party's counselor for the Montego Bay Southeast Division, has been arrested and charged with illegal possession of firearm and assault at common law. According to police sources, Lynch, during a dispute with his wife, allegedly pulled his licensed firearm and pointed it at her. During a dispute between the accused and his wife, it is alleged that the accused pulled his licensed firearm and pointed it at the complainant. The complainant made a report to the police, a statement was recorded, and an investigation conducted. The accused was arrested, charged, and placed into custody. The firearm was also seized by the police. Cop under investigation for allegedly assaulting girlfriend. The St. Mary police are investigating a constable for the alleged assault of his girlfriend. It is reported that about 2 weeks ago, the couple had a dispute after the woman was accused of being unfaithful. It's alleged that she was handcuffed and severely beaten. She was also reportedly hit in the face with a bottle. More hospital beds being prepared ahead of 4th coronavirus wave. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says with Jamaica likely to experience a 4th wave of the coronavirus early in 2022, more beds are being provided to hospitals as part of preparations for another health crisis. Mr. Holness on Tuesday told the House of Representatives that based on the low vaccination level, it is inevitable that COVID-19 cases will increase as early as next month. He revealed that about 800 bed spaces will be made available for COVID patients. In addition, he said field hospitals are still being erected and there is adequate supply of medical oxygen following investments by the government to get oxygen generators.
We'll probably get to about 800 beds, but I don't expect us to be able to go much more past that because each bed that we put in for COVID is a bed that we're taking away for other health purposes. We have made some investments in getting oxygen generators. I believe now we would have resolved some of the issues for oxygen. So we are preparing to be able to treat with a 4th wave when it comes. What we will never be able to be prepared for is the deaths that will ultimately and inevitably follow.
Severe penalties proposed for prisoners found with cellular phones. The government has proposed severe penalties for possession of cellular phones and other communication devices by prison inmates and for smuggling of such items into correctional facilities. The House of Representatives on Tuesday started debate on the Corrections Amendment Act, which is aimed at cracking down on contraband entering correctional facilities. In opening the debate, National Security Minister Dr. Harris Chang said technological advancements have rendered current legislation ineffective. He said changes are needed as prisoners are continuing their criminal activities from behind the bars.
Through the use of cellular phones and electronic communication devices, incarcerated violence producers are better able to directly and or indirectly influence criminal gangs and drug activities. Some of these violence producers are leaders or top-tier members of gangs who give orders that perpetuate gang feuds and contract killings, and on occasions may pervert the course of justice as witnesses are threatened, injured, or murdered. In addition to the foregoing, cellular telephones can also be used for planning escapes from custody, gathering their criminal intelligence on the staff of correctional institutions. Section 13 is amended by increasing the penalty from a paltry fine of $500 or to imprisonment for any term not exceeding 6 months to a penalty of fine not exceeding $3 million or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 3 years, or to both such fine and imprisonment upon summary conviction in a parish court, or a fine or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 5 years, or to both such fine and imprisonment upon conviction in a circuit court.
JDF soldier left immobile by hit-and-run driver at the St. James checkpoint. 2 weeks ago, Jamaica Defense Force Private Jermaine Rose came face-to-face with death. On November 25, he was badly injured in a hit-and-run while on duty at the Greenwood checkpoint in the Montego Bay area of St. James. The incident left him with 2 broken legs, among other injuries, resulting in him being bedridden since that time. The driver who mowed down the young soldier remains at large as police are continuing their investigations. Speaking with the news from his bed at the JDF's Up Park Camp headquarters in St. Andrew, the 29-year-old recalled that on the night of the tragedy, gunshots were heard while he and his colleagues were on duty sometime after midnight. Based on those sounds, the soldiers made the decision to check the vehicles that were passing. Around 12:30 a.m. thereabout, we saw 4 cars approaching the checkpoint, and we tried to slow them down, and they stopped for a second, and then them take time approach the checkpoint. And then they were driving across the road, recounted the Tower Hill St. Andrew resident. The cars tried to hit down one of my colleagues first, and he jumped out of the road. And just as I was about to jump out of the road, a car hit me and broke my 2 feet and dislocated my right hand, he said. According to Rose, the impact of the vehicle on his body resulted in him being flung in the air and landing on the sidewalk. The car did not stop. While lying on the sidewalk, he said, another car grazed him as it passed. None of the vehicles stopped. In that moment, Rose said he felt a lot of pain. What shocked me is when my colleagues take me up and I see my foot a dangle. Cause the right foot, the ankle broke right off. They had to cut off the uniform off my legs because of the pain I was going through. Rose, who was still obviously in pain, told the news. Asked whether he was fearful of dying at that point, the soldier responded, at times, but I have my 2-month-old son and I used him as a motivation. Rose was transported to the Falmouth Hospital in Trelawney, where he said he spent a week undergoing several medical procedures and x-rays, as the left side of his hip was broken as well as his left leg and the right ankle, which had since been pinned to hold it in place. I did x-rays about 5 times and they straightened the right leg. I will have to do another surgery to straighten the left leg, he explained, adding that he's unable to move physically. Rose was eventually transferred to Up Park Camp in St. Andrew, where he remains to receive further care and treatment. He is also receiving the assistance and support of family members and friends. In relation to his future in the JDF, Rose remains hopeful. The doctors will have to do a lot of therapy, the soldier said, with the pain evident in his voice as he spoke. Meanwhile, he described as unfortunate not being able to identify who was driving the vehicle that hit him that night. To that end, he is calling on anyone who would have any information in that regard to share with the police. Rose, in the meantime, indicated that he would also welcome the assistance from the public with sanitary items such as wipes, soaps, and powder. He would also welcome vitamins and any other assistance where possible. Persons wishing to assist may contact Rose's brother Jamel Brown at 876-409-2903. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.